Covering music-related content of all genres. If it filters through Eastern Texas, it's fair game. Y'all bring it. From Texarkana down to the coast and Dallas down to Houston and everything in between. We are ETX ROCKS!
Hit the brakes!
Cut!
Jen Ford here to tell you about the best guitar shop around, Neil's Guitars and More in downtown Kilgore, Texas. Neil has been outfitting East Texas artists such as Cody Wayne, Adam Brown, and Rio Wallace with his great selection of acoustic guitars, mandolins, guitar strings, amps, and everything you need to get ready for your gig. Need lessons? Go see Neil. Need quick repairs? Go see Neil. You never know who you'll run into at this locally owned and operated shop. Supporting live music for years, Neil's Guitars and More at 119 North Longview Street in Kilgore, Texas.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a brand new episode of the ETX ROCKS podcast with yours truly, Boston Chris. We have a goofball in the studio today. And first of all, I just want to thank Neil Laney from Neil's Guitars and More for sponsoring this episode of ETX ROCKS. They're located out there on 119 North Longview Street in Kilgore. You guys just heard their commercial that Jen Ford did for Neil. Just played right here on the ETX ROCKS podcast. Remember, if you guys want to advertise with us, contact me, Boston Chris, and we might just sell you something. You just never know.
Thank you, my friend.
No problem. So we're sitting here with the one and only Cody Wayne.
Yes.
Cody Wayne is a 6-time East Texas Music Award winner. 6 times in 3 different years. He was the Country Band of the Year in 2012 and 2015.
I forgot about that one.
He was the male vocalist and vocal group of the year in 2014, and entertainer and album and country band of the year in 2015.
Woo! Yay!
So that's all fan voted. That's all.
Yes.
Your fans are driving that bus.
Yes, and thank y'all for that.
And I think that's incredible. There's not too many 6-time East Texas Music Award winners out there.
Yeah, we got lucky, I guess. Thank y'all.
Well, I mean, we're growing and we're growing and we're growing. And I know since the awards last year, your career has just been completely crazy.
Yes, it has grown exponentially, and I'm so thankful for that. So
you, I guess here in Texas, they call it Texas Red Dirt Country.
Yeah.
So what to you, what does that mean?
To me, you can... how to explain this? How to put this into good words here? Okay, when you hear Luke Bryan, you know exactly who it is, right?
Right.
When you hear Aaron Watson, you know exactly who that is.
Right.
When you hear Bob Wills, you know exactly who that is. Texas has its own sound, and the Red Dirt has its own sound. Coming from the Yellow House guys, the Cross Canadian Ragweed, Jason Boland, Stone in the Root. Yeah, those guys that came out of the Stillwater area, they kind of had their own sound and the way they did things. And it merged with Texas because Texas and Red Dirt is huge. It encompasses a lot of things, but it's also the rawness. It's the true, real sound of the music. Right. You know what I mean? It's not synthesized or over-processed or auto-tuned or, it's there. It's there. Right. Obviously, it's kind of a standard practice now, but it's real. It's when you hear Aaron Watson on a CD, you hear him on the radio, you go to a show, it's going to sound exactly the same.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So how would you say your style differs from more like traditional country or even the new modern pop country? How is Cody Wayne different than that?
Honestly, we as the band, we don't try to say we're going to sound like this or we're going to do this. We just, when a song starts out, I write the words down and I kind of get the chord progression to go to it. Once we sit down as a band and go with it, it's open to go anywhere.
Right.
I set the guidelines, I guess. And with the players and the musicians that are in the band, they're going to add their own little taste to it, and it's going to grow from there.
When you guys are creatively creating this, do those influences that each of you have individually, do they kind of bleed into what you're doing sometimes?
Absolutely. I mean, it's my music style is kind of huge, it's huge,
Yeah, absolutely.
Going from, growing up, it was George Strait and Garth Brooks.
Right.
And then, from there, after I decided I wasn't going to be a bull rider, I like baseball a little more. And then it went to, the heavier kind of, I started learning more about the rock and roll and the metal stuff. And then from there, it went to like the Incubus Sublime kind of time frame. And then from there, it went to the classic rock like Led Zeppelin and
So you were just dealing with musical bipolar, basically.
Yeah, if it was music, and it didn't matter what it was. If it was good, I liked it. If I thought it was good, I liked it.
Yeah.
I was playing it, and so I think that shows. And even when I write songs, I don't sit down and say, okay, I'm going to write this song about this, and it's going to sound like this.
Right.
I've got songs that a girl needs to sing. It would sound so much better. I've got songs that go from there's two new ones that I've written that are, one sounds like Leonard Skinner, the classic ballad by them, and one sounds like a ragtime Bob Wills kind of sound,
Nice.
And it's just whatever the song comes out to be, is you can't force it.
Right. That's funny because I just did a feature for a different podcast than mine on Harlan Howard. I don't know if you've heard of Harlan Howard, but he wrote a song for Kitty Wells, the queen of country music, called "Mommy for a Day."
Yeah.
Number one hit.
That's it.
I don't think Harlan Howard's ever been a mommy.
No, yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
It's just you have to be open to it and just let it go where it goes. You write 100, you get one out of it.
Right.
Right.
So when did music become such an important part of your life?
When I got out of the military, to tell you the truth. It was always there, but growing up, you remember those old TVs that had
like the wooden ones?
Oh yeah. On one side was an 8-track player and one side was a record player.
Yeah.
The record player, we had one. I'm sorry, we had two. One of them was what was it? It was a comedy. It was a Bill Cosby comedy thing. And then the other one was a Christmas thing. I don't remember who sang it. And then on the 8 tracks, we had the Stray Cats and Bob Wills.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
I mean, I'm sorry, Stray Cats and Marty Robbins.
No wonder why you're all over the
And
place.
so, and music was always there. I just never realized it.
Was there music influences within your own family as well?
Absolutely. My aunt, I have a aunt who comes to some of the shows, my Aunt Barbara, very, very musically talented. Can sit down and play the piano like, Little Richard, just wail on it. And is always singing. And even to this day, she helps me out. She's like one of the biggest coaches, and it's not in a mean way. Don't take us wrong, but where I do something, I write a song, somebody's like, oh man, that's a really good song. She's like, it's good, but you need to do this. You might want to look at doing this.
You got to have that.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, I'm probably getting way off topic here.
You're good. You're good.
But, so getting back to, and even when I was a kid, my parents would go over to like our neighbor's house, and their dad played the trumpet. One guy played the guitar. I can remember sitting there singing Kalijah with, Uncle Doug. Yeah. And so, but I never really paid that much attention to it until I got into the military. And hopefully he's going to listen. I always said I was going to say this. The guy that gave me the start to music. I lived with a guy while I was in Japan. And he had like 4 or 5, played guitar. His dad was a studio musician, stuff like that, or a session musician. And he was always playing. So I was like, man, 2 years over here, I might as well try to pick it up. And so I said, hey, man, can you teach me how to play guitar? He said, no. I was like, okay. He said, I can show you what to play. He said, I can't teach you. You learn that on your own.
Right.
He said, that's why everybody's styles are different. I can show you what to play, but you learn it on your own. Then I thought he was just being a jerk, but now, now I look at him like,
now you know the terminology,
okay. I got you. But his name's Ryan Turnipseed, and I thank him very much for giving me that chance. And, from there, it grew. And I said, and that's, we had our first time I ever got anything for playing music. We were on a convoy up to Mount Fuji while we were in Japan, and we had to stop at a rest stop. And we were sitting out in front of this little gas station playing, and a little Japanese lady comes up and hands us a bag of cookies. So, but anyway, from there, then I get out, and all my plans. I had jobs lined up for Schlumberger doing offshore stuff, and I was playing rugby for the Marines at the time. Blew my knee out. Got out. Couldn't pass the physical for my knee.
Do you know there's a town called Rugby in Texas?
Yes, I do.
Where is it?
That is going north up towards Paris, isn't it? Yeah,
it sure is.
Drove through it the other day, actually.
Yeah, me too. I was like, dude, Rugby. Yeah. And the next town's called DePort.
Yeah. Oh yeah, so playing rugby, blew my knee out, couldn't do the pass physical, so I was like, well, might as well go back to school, and that's when I moved down to Nacogdoches and just walked into Bonita on a Wednesday. I think they were doing like karaoke, open mic kind of thing. Walked in, said, hey, can I play a couple of songs? They're like, yeah, sure. Played 2-3 songs, got done. They're like, you want to open up tomorrow?
So that's why Bonita Creek is kind of home to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, so
I wanted to thank you for your service. You were in the U.S. Marines, and can you tell us about some of the places your military duty has taken you?
Yeah. First plane ride I ever took was to boot camp.
Yeah, same
Flew
here.
from Dallas to San Diego, and then
I got to tell you one quick story before you go
ahead.
on. When I went into boot camp in the U.S. Navy, we got on the plane. And we were going to Great Lakes in Michigan. Okay, we landed in Orlando. Yeah, somehow our tour of duty got changed while we were in midair.
Oh.
So like I've got all these winter coats, and I'm ready for bear, and we get off, and it's palm trees and lizards running everywhere. And, I'm 17 years old. I'm like, hey, this is not the Great Lakes. I mean, I'm stupid, but yeah. So midair.
What's that movie, Dumb and Dumber?
Yeah.
John Denver's full of man.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Yeah, so I mean, yeah. I'm expecting 25 degrees, and we get out and it's 82 and sunny,
Yeah.
Because it was like October too, So
absolutely.
Yeah. So I also understand that you did a tour of duty in Iraq.
We did, and funny story to go along with that. On our way to Iraq, we left Cherry Point, North Carolina, flew up to Maine, and then went over to Germany, then Kuwait, and Iraq.
Right.
And once we landed in Maine, it was a blizzard. Wow. We left Cherry Point, it was 80 degrees. We hit Maine, it's a blizzard. We're like, the doors open up and all this snow and everything comes in. It's like 200 guys are like, nah, I'm good. I'm going to go back in here.
I'll stay in the plane. Yeah, sounds safer in here. Why would they put y'all through Maine? Like Boston's only like that makes no sense. I guess it's just the military, the way they do their transport.
Yeah, it's.
So would you say that your military experience has influenced your music at all?
Absolutely. Yeah, I would think so. Just the way I approach it, it's I guess the responsibility and the motivation to it, and a lot of that has to do with my wife as well. But you've got to do the hard stuff to enjoy the good stuff, kind of thing,
Right.
So.
And I know you're very, very patriotic as well.
Yes, absolutely.
And I think what's really cool about Cody Wayne, and I think it shows in your songs as well. I mean, if you go and see Cody Wayne live, I mean, you've had 3 singles out, but I mean, you sing so many more original songs than just the 3 you've had out on the radio.
Yeah, and it's
I just think it's cool that you've lived so much experience. You're still a fairly young guy as well, but you've lived so much experience that your songs are just so much deeper than what you might hear.
Thank you.
On a local level.
Thank you very much. It's I don't know. I just at the time I'd never really thought about the stuff I was going through while I was going through it, but now looking back at it, I guess now that you mention it, yeah, there's been a lot of stuff.
So like when you're sitting there and you're writing a song, I mean, does it come easy or do you have to force it?
Well, that's the one thing I never try to do is force it. If I sit down and I get a verse and or 2 verses and half a chorus written, and there's just nothing else coming, I stop. I walk away. I go outside, go do something else, because then it becomes the difference in Texas red dirt and Nashville.
Right.
You know, you hear what the generic, you know, songs to the songs with meaning.
Right.
So.
Well, I mean, we saw you one night, and you did. I don't know the names of the songs. Forgive me, but I know one was about a small town situation.
Yeah.
Another one was about the military. Of course, you have your songs about love and life and things like that, and then you hit us with, you know, some guy bragging about his frozen pizza. You know?
Right.
It's like, wow, man, this is great. And then if you go and see a Cody Wayne live full band show, you just never know what kind of music you're going to hear. And
organized chaos.
Yes.
That's all it is.
I would definitely agree with that.
And like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but we have a set list, but it's basically just a list of the songs. I kind of pick and choose, no show. And we start out kind of the same just because it flows well. But after that, it just, whatever the crowd's into. Yeah. You know, if the crowd's into the older kind of stuff, we'll play the older kind of stuff. The crowd's into the new fast beat stuff.
You got to feel your crowd out and see what's working. So your style, I would say, is most definitely described as high energy.
Yes.
We've seen a few of your shows, and I can attest that you definitely engage the audience to the T, including, you know, you just never know what he might be standing on.
People on stage.
Yes. So how do you take from your own experiences and translate that into your music so that your fans can relate so well to your songs?
Well, there has to be the genuine side of it, especially if it's your song that you wrote. You know, you have to put feelings and emotions into it, and you have to be open to letting people have their opinion about it too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's kind of like, you know, the military in a sense of the you know, the
structure.
The structure and the what they call it, anyway, it's like if you're wrong and people don't like it, be wrong. Right. You know, it's okay own it. You know, be wrong. You know, it didn't work. And if you know, if I'm not having fun singing these songs, nobody's gonna have fun watching these songs.
I agree.
You know, and if there's one person that's sitting back in the back and there's arms crossed, sad, looking on their face, like, I don't know, that's the person I'm gonna go to.
That's probably just bad service.
Well, you know, I mean, and then I'm not saying, you know, people aren't going to like
either cellular or wait staff.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it could be either one.
So, but not everybody's going to like a song, you know, and I know that. And there's people that are literally, I've had a guy, I was telling my wife, we drove by a place on our way to God, where were we going? Ennis. On our way to Ennis, drove by a place. I was like, yeah, I played there a long time ago. She's like, oh, that's kind of a cool place. It's like, it's the only place I've had a guy walk up to me and say, play blah, blah, blah by Merle Haggard. And I was like, oh, man, I don't really know that when he flips me off and walks off. It's like, all right, well, not everybody's going to like what we're doing.
Well, sometimes you have to kind of experiment with your audiences, too. Like, if you have a song that you're, you know, completely in love with and you're ready for radio and all this and you're playing it live and it just doesn't translate, then, you know, sometimes maybe you got to rethink what your love is about.
And sometimes I'd rather hear a lot more of your songs than cover songs that you do.
Right.
You know, and it's one of the things that every one of your shows is different. It's not a cookie cutter, step up to stage and do the same songs in a row over and over and over.
Right.
That's the thing that I hate the most.
I mean, if we wanted that, we'd just buy a record.
That's it.
Yeah.
You know. So tell us a little bit more about your band. We'd love for you to introduce each member of the band and maybe tell us a little bit about what each of your bandmates contribute.
Absolutely. First off, the guy that's been with us the longest now is Daniel Brusso. DB, the man. He's a guitar player, pedal steel player, anything. He's kind of he's the guy that makes everything run, I guess you'd say, on stage as far as that goes. And where I love the fact that with the guys that we have now, before the show, I can turn around and go, everybody ready? They're like, we're ready. And I can turn back around and never have to worry about what they're doing because they're on it. They've
just
nailed
that
it,
trust level is very high.
And I can focus more on going out in the audience and playing around and being an idiot, you know? So, but Daniel is the backbone to everything. He's the one that makes everything happen on stage and keeps everything moving. The next guy is our drummer, Billy Rasnick, who is, the heartbeat, the timekeeper, the man that the meter, you know what I mean? He's he doesn't say much, but he's right there. He's solid. He's a guy that, we practice at his house. His kids come to the show. His wife comes to the show. His wife and him, I'm going to get them to do their little duets they're talking about singing. And so they're going to be singing with that. And
wow, he just called you out, Billy. I'm just saying.
Oh, no, he's mentioned it. We just haven't got it done yet. We're looking for that this Saturday, by the way. I'm going to throw it on him. And then the next guy would be Vic Andrews, our fiddle player. We were looking for a fiddle player or a keys player, something. We knew we needed the extra little,
some kind of auxiliary.
Yeah. And we put it out there on, I think it was on Craigslist or something. I don't know. And then like he sends us some videos like, hey man, I see y'all are looking to get a fiddle player. I'd like to try out for it. And we're like, oh yeah, cool. And it's like, we'll send you some of the music and let you, work something up. It's like, oh no, I got it. Here's a video. And like, he's just playing along with our stuff. I'm like, can you be here tomorrow? He's like, yeah, sure. I'll come down. And so he's so talented at what he does. He lives in Dallas, but he doesn't have to be there with us all the time. He doesn't have to practice with us all the time. He can pick up on it. And he was in the Marines as well. So was Daniel.
Wow.
And literally when he sent us that video, he was like 2 weeks back out of the military, out of the Marines. And he's so business minded and so technology minded and so up to speed of what's trending and going and giving ideas. And him and Tamara really work well together. And so, he's the new idea. I don't know how to say it, but the technology guy, I guess you'd say. Yeah. And then the newest guy is Pinky, Brandon Pinkerton, the bass player. He's really, I forgot to mention Vic. He plays harmonica and mandolin and all that kinds of other stuff too. So then Brandon, he's actually really a guitar player that he wanted to be in the band, and him and Billy are really, really good friends, and we needed a bass player at the time. He's like, yeah, I'll play bass, man. He's like, I like it. I want to play bass. I'm like, okay. Came in and just...
That was a lie.
Nailed it. No, it really wasn't. It really wasn't.
I don't know any bass player that says that. Come on.
So he nailed it. And,
just kidding.
And a bass player and a drummer have to be like a married couple.
Yes, for sure.
So each one has to know what they're doing and where it's going. Right. So him and Billy are really good friends and have been for a while and been in other bands, and they just clicked.
I think it's crazy how so many musicians out there know so many different instruments.
Right.
It's almost like they get bored when they figure one out. It's like, all right, I got this one. Let's it's like you say, mandolin and all this. It's like, man, I can't even learn how to play a pen.
It's a challenge, I think, honestly. It's the figuring out of how to make something sound a certain way and get the certain sound you want out of it, and put that to fit into a song is amazing. It's
right.
It's a challenge, it's the way, I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming like a guy that's a carpenter or works in construction, they build a house, they're like, oh man, that's good, that's really cool, all that wood could make that. It's kind of the same way.
Right, I agree.
All these different things.
We watched a guy last night in the Gene Watson band. He was playing pedal steel.
Yeah.
Then he'd pick up a saxophone.
Yep.
I was like, oh my God, they're nothing alike.
Yeah.
They're not even in the same family.
Yeah, and it's like all the guys in the band. Even Daniel plays guitar, pedal steel. What's the other thing? He was talking about something the other night. Anyway, Billy, the drummer, plays guitar, can play bass, can sing. Vic plays all. I mean, it's so everybody brings different aspect to everything.
Yeah.
And even when it's It's as far as musically inclined and music knowledge, I'm the least of the group.
Right.
You know, I haven't been playing near as long as these other guys.
So what does it take for an independent artist or a band such as you guys to get your songs on the radio?
Work, time, phone calls, dedication, a little bit of money, and a loving family that understands that from Monday to Wednesday, you're going to have to make about 200 phone calls. And then from also, while you're doing that, you're going to be driving on the road at the same time.
Right.
Like when we're doing it, packing the CDs up to send out to all the radio stations, you know, our twins were sitting there stuffing envelopes with CDs. Case was over there wetting the thing and closing it and sent it to us. Me and Tamara would write the addresses and she'd do this. You know, it's like an assembly line. Yep. It takes more than just one person to do this. And
that's how you get a top 40 hit right there, guys.
That's it. You know, it takes the time to learn your craft and write the song, the time to invest into the song to make it sound good, the producers and engineers to make it sound good, the time to make the phone call, to even get the list to make the phone calls.
Right.
You know, how
much strategy is involved?
Tamara.
Yeah, Tamara. It's the trial and error, man. Honestly, it's fly by the seat of your pants, give it your best shot. If it works, back up, do the next thing, you know.
So you're driving down the road and you hear your song come on the radio.
Yes.
What's that feeling like?
Crazy, honestly. I don't think I'll ever get used to it. It's one of the, like, I would honestly just rather turn it off, me, just because I'm like, oh, I should have done this, I should have done that, and, you know, this, that, where, you know, I can't listen to it from a listener's point of view, you know. And
I always think it's cool when, you know, you'll go live or record or whatever, and your song will come on, and you hear him being a goofball singing along to it, you know, and it's like, whoa, man, if that ever happened to me, I'd probably crash.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's, you sit there and you listen, you're like, wow, I'm on the radio. Yeah. You know, holy crap, this is on the radio. And, you know, I didn't have to go up there and be like, can you please play the song? Can you please play the song?
Right.
And then to look at the chart position, and you're between Kevin Fowler and Corey Morrow, and you're like, oh,
right,
crap.
Yeah.
You know, between those guys.
So what does that mean to you when you're watching your singles just climb that ladder, man?
Mind blowing.
Honestly. I can imagine.
I mean, you look at these guys that are your heroes, you know, that made this Texas country scene what it is. Amen. And your song's right up there with one of theirs.
Right.
Oh, there's no way. Something's wrong, you know?
Well, man, just as a fan, you know, and I'll check the charts at least every other week or so, you know? I mean, we're pretty busy as well, but, I mean, just looking at the charts, and I'm like, yep, I'm friends with him. Yep, I'm friends with him. Yep, I'm friends with him. Yeah. And it's like, dude, this is awesome.
Absolutely.
You know, it's just as a fan where, I mean, we had nothing to do with your song, obviously, but just to watch you,
y'all did,
you know, number 80, number 60, number 40, and it's like, I know that guy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but y'all did have something to do with it because you do this podcast. You mentioned the songs. You mentioned our name.
We appreciate that.
And it's, like I said, it's not just us.
Right.
It's everybody that has anything to do with it.
Right.
You know?
If it was just them, they would still be in that bar playing for all them people to sit around and drink beer.
Absolutely.
And,
it's like the Warren Brothers said a few years ago. We don't sell a lot of records, but we sure sell a lot of beer.
That's it. Absolutely.
Anybody remembers that song? I'm real impressed with you because that wasn't a platinum hit.
But that's exactly right. You know, you would be, if you're gonna, I say this, if you're gonna do a single, anybody listen to this, you want to do a single, you want to get it on the radio. One, invest the money into good recording. Two, plan for about 3 months to get all your information lined up and get all the names lined up, make sure all the phone numbers are right, because program directors switch out like every other week.
Yep.
You know, and take the time to literally walk up to a station, knock on the door, and say, "Hey, I'm Cody. I'm so and so. Here's my song. If you don't like it, you got a cool coaster, you know."
Right.
You know what I mean?
Cool
and
coaster.
be ready for them to say, "Nope, I hate it."
I would say also make sure before you even start traveling down this road, make sure you have a solid team in your corner.
Yes, absolutely. And you know, it's not a 9 to 5 job.
No,
It's a 6 o'clock in the morning till 2 o'clock in the morning job.
that's absolutely right.
So
Overnight Success by Zane Williams is the perfect.
absolutely,
Yep.
absolutely.
So you've been very, very vocal about your support of the East Texas Music Awards,
Yes.
and we thank you very much for that, sir. As a 6-time winner at those awards, in what ways do you think the awards help in supporting local artists?
It brings a light to everybody that is doing something good for this area. You know, it's a way for them for everybody to recognize who they think is doing good things, or the song they like, or whatever it may be. You know, not saying that anybody's better than anybody else, but you know, it's a way to bring a light to the East Texas music community, and to give everybody else a way to be a part of that.
Right.
Gives it a boost.
Yes.
See, I jumped on board with this. I mean, it had already been around for 3 years at the time, I guess. But the main reason why I jumped on board was because prior to even being part of this community, I always enjoyed going to a live band or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And when I heard about the awards, I was just like, wow, this is a great opportunity to really educate people that this is here.
Absolutely. And that's, you know, when we started back in, I think first year was 2012, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I had come back from the military. And see, that's another thing. When I was in Japan, all these guys, younger guys, are coming over from Texas, and they're like, Pat Green and Corey Morrow. I'm like, who? What are you talking about?
Wow.
Where are you from? I'm from Texas. You don't know Pat Green? It's like, look, man, I've been over
How'd
here
you
for
get
a
out
while.
of there alive, man?
You know, it's yeah. So I come back over here, and I jumped from Bremond to Nacogdoches, and I started learning about these guys, and I never paid attention to what else was around me besides writing songs and who I was going to open for next. You know, it was nose to the grindstone. This is what I'm going to do. And so once we started branching out to the radio and doing all this, 2012, when that came in, you know, we went to the awards show, and there's Teaser, there's, you know, the rap groups. What was it? Roe B was one of them. He's a really cool guy. You know, all these other people. I'm like, y'all are, wow. You know, all this is right here in East Texas.
Yep.
You know, I'd never known before. Not because it wasn't there. It's just because I didn't know to look.
Right.
Or I didn't know it was there.
I think what's really cool too is, like, you know, each one of these different communities. I mean, you mentioned rap. You know, the rap hip hop game in East Texas is really strong.
Yeah.
But if you don't know about it, you're not going to know about it. You know, the same thing with like bluegrass, Americana. I mean, there's a million of those bands around here. And,
good bands.
Really, really good bands, might I add. Yeah, I mean, really good bands. But you would never know about them until something like this comes along, where all of these people are coming together and learning about each other.
Absolutely.
And now, you know, one of the things we're trying to do now currently is we're trying to make almost like branding for each one of these genres. So maybe we can go out and actually have red carpet events for each genre.
Absolutely.
Oh, come on, man.
That's fantastic.
That's the thing that I liked about it, is going there and having all of the genre in one place.
Right.
Yep.
That's the thing that draws me, because some people fit in certain genre. I'm all over the place.
Right.
I love it all.
It's that musical bipolar like we talked about earlier. You know, but I mean, what we'd like to do is we'd like to have a different red carpet event for each genre.
Absolutely.
No, hold on. And then your awards show is the culmination of that. And you bring all the brands together and you have your award show. But this way we can create a safe environment for a rap show, for example, maybe at, I don't know, Liberty Hall in Tyler. Just never know. That might be some foreshadowing out there, guys. Just never know. But, you know, it's just really, it's Nathan Honeycutt and just that huge brain of his with all these ideas percolating in there. And it's just crazy what he can come up with.
Absolutely.
So in your opinion, as someone who's won 6 awards, how do you think the awards can help elevate artists to the next level.
I will say, winning an award, it gives you a way to, gives you credibility, should I say?
Right.
Like, especially if you branch out from here, if it's a new venue you haven't been to, you can say, anybody can say, I'm Cody Wayne, I'm the greatest band since sliced bread.
Right.
Okay, well, that's the 50th time I've heard that today, from somebody. But you can say, also, I won this award for best country band. You're like, let me look at them a little bit more.
Right.
So
it's amazing what can change when you can put the words award winning in front of your band name.
Absolutely. And it's a credibility, it's a prestige, I would say, it's an honor, it's and it's a tool to use and a recognition for what you've done.
Absolutely. So I know that you have been touring a lot lately.
Yeah.
Between playing and, of course, you got those radio promotional tours that never seem to end, where you're talking to a different DJ every morning.
Yeah. We're kind of at the end to Take Me Drunk, and we're actually finishing up the next one. Cool. Fixing to start again. So it's a never-ending cycle.
What do you love about touring? And maybe you could tell us some of the drawbacks as well.
Well, the first drawback, first and foremost, is being away from the family.
Right.
That's the killer. And that's the one thing that makes it hard, But like I said, when you have that good team and that support network, it's easier. It's easier to when you call home, they're like, it's okay, you got this, keep going, you're good. You need to do this, you need to do that, go here, go there. All right, I can do it. Because I'm a big old wuss. I'm not gonna lie to you when it comes to stuff like that.
Right.
I get homesick.
Oh, I know that.
And so it's hard, but that's the biggest downfall. Aside from that, meeting new people, getting out there and putting the band's name, our name, and our songs and our style in there, just throw it in the mix with everybody else and seeing what happens.
Right.
And getting a response out of it, whether it's good or bad. It lets you know kind of where maybe you need to go or how you maybe need to approach something a little differently. And so it's the good thing, getting out there, meeting new people, playing all these new places, good Lord, Green Hall, playing, not Green Hall, I'm sorry, Lukenbach. We haven't played Green yet, but it's coming. Lukenbach, the Rio Grande Valley Fair, Comal County Fair, Chili Fest, Firehouse Saloon, all these great you guys won
venues. Something out at Chili Fest too.
Yeah, we won the Battle of the Bands for that one.
Yeah.
So, State Fair, Texas, stuff. Getting to play these historic, Bonita Creek Hall. Oh my God, those places are becoming, or those places are mainstays. They're historic. They're I can't even explain
places
it.
Places you would never even dream of being there.
But sitting there and you're sitting there and like Take Me Drunk, the song I wrote it sitting at the kitchen table, and you're like, wow, this song's on the radio. Wow, we're playing this song here. We're playing it Chili, Cowboy Stadium. This big ugly face right here is on a 60-yard screen, like, wow, really?
That's awesome. When did you play out there?
It was 2 years ago. The year that Dallas and Philly played for the division championship. And Dallas lost.
Wait, the Cowboys were in the playoffs?
No, they played for the division championship.
Oh, okay.
2 or 3 years ago, I guess it was. But we got to play the pregame show for them.
I have to keep the Cowboy hate level up on that show. Oh,
it's all right.
Carter Breeze is a good friend of mine, and him and I are always jockeying back and forth.
Do you see the video they put up recently?
Yeah.
He get his armpit waxed? Yeah. Oh, man.
See the one yesterday where he did his wife's makeup?
No, I didn't see that one.
That was funny, too. So how important do you think it is as an artist to give back to the community?
That's probably one of the most important things. But you can't turn your back on the people that got you where you are. You know, the head you step on today is the one that's going to be standing on yours tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So you got to be appreciative of everybody that helped you get to where you're at.
Because I know that you still do a lot of benefits and things like that, especially here in East Texas, which, I mean, we're so appreciative of that. And, you know, I always try to say, as a booking manager, I book sometimes on the side. I always try to say, you know, hey, we should do at least one of these shows every month or every other month or something. You know, we always want to try to find ways of helping people that need the help. Right. Because you never know when you're going to be that person that needs that help.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So I always am real respectful of you for giving back in that way. And that's why I wanted to ask you that question, because maybe it'll, you know, show some people out there that they need to step up.
Yeah, I mean, and you're not, I mean, I'm not going to say that we're perfect in everything we've done. We haven't done, you know, some things that some people might not see as helpful or something. You know what I mean?
Right.
But, you know, generally try to just be cool, you know? Right. You know what I mean? Help out people that need help. If you're in a position to help, you know what I mean?
So I know you brought some of your paperwork here today. Is there anything that we haven't touched on that you want to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, we got some shows. When's this going to air again?
October 8th is when this will go
October 8th, so we'll get down to, boom, right there. Okay. Yeah, the 8th. Today, we are in Matagorda, actually Bay City, down there for the Bull Blast, I'm sorry. You know, we've got some other stuff coming up.
Where can people find you on social media for the rest of your calendar of events?
Lord, there's so many of them. Not events, but social media stuff.
See if you can remember.
Facebook is obviously the big kicker right now. And I think it's, you know, just Cody Wayne Music or Cody Wayne or Tamra, one of them. You know, you can find everything.
It will be your Facebook page will be tagged in the post for this as well.
Awesome. So yeah, cool. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So there's Facebook. There's a website, CodyWayneMusic.com. Instagram, I'm pretty sure that's under Cody Wayne Music. Twitter is under Cody Wayne Music. Is there any other ones? What's the other
Snapchat?
Snapchat, yes. We actually just did that. We just did that one. Yes. We just set that one up. That's under Cody Wayne Music too. So
Cody Wayne has a Snapchat.
Yeah, and you know how like you take the picture for the little thing.
Yes, that's why
it's
I'm
like
laughing.
3 pictures in a row, right? The first one I'm smiling, I'm looking at the camera, then I'm like, what am I doing? It's like taking the pictures while I'm looking over here, you know? So
oh my God.
Yeah.
I've tried using Snapchat. I've tried, you know, I'm trying to get better at Twitter and Instagram. I mean, I'm really good at Facebook.
Yeah, oh yeah. Oh, we were setting up the Snapchat. We did it, and we were in the car the other day, and our 10-year-old son's in there telling us how to do it. Yeah, honestly.
I don't know.
He's like, no, Mom, you got to do this.
Like, I've downloaded it and deleted it probably like 4 times, man. I'm just like, I don't get it, you know?
Yep. No, I don't either.
And then my girlfriend's all over Pinterest.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah. So, is there anything you'd like to say to your fans out there?
Yes, absolutely. Thank everyone so much for everything that anyone has ever done for us. You know, and like, I'm not gonna say me. It's not me. It's us, the band. It's not just me that makes the songs what they are. It's not just me that makes the show what it is. Think of my wife first and foremost for all the work she does. If she probably works twice as hard as what I do, honestly. And so I thank her for that. Thank our boys, Hayes and Narrington, for everything they do. Thank Kaysen for everything he does, and Kayla for everything she does. My mom, Tim, Nan and BT, everybody in our family. Thank y'all at East Texas Rocks and East Texas Music and everything that y'all do. Thank Neil.
Absolutely.
For everything he does for
we need to
East
have a whole
Texas
lot
music.
more Neil Laney appreciation.
Yes, absolutely. Days. Absolutely. And, you know, Nathan for everything he does with the awards. Anybody that has a venue that has bands come in, anybody that comes to watch a show, anybody that's ever bought a CD or...
Well, it sure does take a lot of people, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
It's not just one person.
Yeah.
And anybody that thinks it is, they're wrong.
Yeah.
So...
that's why every time we go to a show, especially if it's in a new venue that we haven't been to, we always try to search out the owner or the manager or whatever and just thank them before we leave.
Yeah,
thank you for supporting local music. Sometimes that's all they need to hear.
Yep. That's it.
To keep the train rolling, because a lot of these venues are struggling. I mean, live music is hard to get over, as we would say in the wrestling business.
Right. Yeah.
But maybe they're on the verge of just giving it up when we come along and thank them, and maybe we get another 6 months out of that.
Absolutely.
So, you guys out there, if you're a fan, and especially if you're a fan of a certain band, and you follow that band around, go to your venues and thank them.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I think that's something the venues definitely need to hear more of.
Yes. And it's the venues, everybody that comes to a show, anybody that, like I said, bought a CD
or calls in to request,
calls in to request it, makes a comment on social media, buys a CD, steals it from a friend, finds it on the ground. As long as you listen to it, thank you. You know what I mean?
Finds it on the ground.
Just taking your time, your money, the stuff you've worked for, and coming to see us. That's unimaginable.
Yeah.
I cannot thank y'all enough for that.
So last question, as a Cody Wayne fan, and you know I'm a huge fan of yours. Mm-hmm. When is the full album going to be out? We want the CD, Cody.
See, that's a trick in itself. We, doing this on our own, and now with social media the way it is, and
you're fitting to tell me you don't need a full album anymore, right?
I'm not saying that.
That's where he's going with it.
We will have a full album, but instead of investing $10,000 to $15,000 on an album, we decided to invest $3,000, $2,500 at a time to get a beautiful, done up, mastered song, get the supplies, get the CDs, do the promotions to see where it goes. That's a big jump.
I think it's smart, man. I think you guys you're basically talking about rolling out one song at a time.
For now.
Right.
And until we get to the point to where we can afford to take a hit.
Right.
And say we do invest the $10,000 to $15,000 on an album and it's flops.
Right.
You know what I mean? That sinks a band. That can kill a career.
Absolutely.
So take the time, take it slowly, do it right, do it a little bit out of a time, and see what happens.
Awesome. Well, I want you to know when that album does come out and we're not dead, we're hoping that we will be one of the first to get it.
You will, trust me, you'll be alive still when it comes out.
So once again, we want to thank Mr. Cody Wayne for finally having the time to come talk with us on ETX Rocks. Very, very busy guy. He's all over the place. You guys out there, make sure you check him out on social media. CodyWayneMusic.com, I think you said.
Absolutely.
Cody Wayne, I think it's Cody Wayne Band on Facebook.
Yes.
Cody Wayne Music on Instagram and Twitter and Snapchat.
Yeah.
Cody Wayne's on Snapchat, y'all. So if you need to see him with whiskers and a dog nose, that's where you need to go now. Snapchat. So Cody Wayne's all over the place. Once again, thank you, sir, for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
And y'all can stop emailing me. He's been on ETX Rocks now. So thank y'all for tuning in. Remember to go over there onto Facebook. Check out Neil's Guitars and More on Facebook. And even more than that, come say hi to him.
Yes.
Drive out here to Kilgore, Texas, to 119 North Longview Street, right here by the railroad tracks and the derricks and all of that stuff. Walk on in and say, hey, Neil, Boston Chris sent me.
Absolutely.
Tell me what you can give me. And Neil Laney will hook you up. So once again, we thank Neil for sponsoring this great episode of ETX Rocks. Remember, you guys out there, keep on supporting local music and...
East Texas Rock, ETX Rocks. Sorry.